Happy Monday, peeps, and welcome back to the J Spot. I'm your host, Jay Arrington, and let me say how much I appreciate you spending some of your valuable time here in the J Spot with me. Make sure you like and subscribe if you feel this content is edifying, that it provides a spoonful of encouragement to you, and that you find or rediscover something about yourself, discover something new about yourself, that you go back to that spot where you buried your dreams and resurrect them, and that you find the pathway to your purpose. I talk a lot about purpose here because it's important. I believe, as I've said previously, that we are seeds planted in this earth, just like any other seed. Like the rose bush has the purpose of beauty and providing a sweet and savory smell, like a tomato plant is planted and it provides us with sustenance. Everything that's planted in this earth has a purpose, and we are no different. And just like everything that's planted in this earth has a purpose, everything that's planted in this earth struggles to reach that purpose. You put a seed in the ground, just because you're not looking at it in the dirt doesn't mean it's not struggling to get to where it's supposed to be. There are things in that ground with them that want that space. There are haters down there, just like there are haters up here. But if it ever reaches its purpose and pops through that ground, then it serves a purpose. Flowers, bumblebees come over and take pollen and go somewhere else and give it something and drop it off somewhere else, and something else thrives, is provided sustenance from that pollen creation. Same thing with us. When we begin to live our purpose, we benefit other things that we don't even see. And it's important to me because, like a seed dies into itself, the scripture says, unless it dies into itself, it'll never bear fruit. So when I got stabbed in my heart through the left ventricle of my heart in 1999, I died. But by the grace of God, kept me here so I could bear some fruit. And one of the things I found out, discovered about myself, because I lost everything I had, my apartment, my car, fortunately, the manager of the apartment complex, he stored my clothes for me. So while I was homeless in Patterson, because that's where I went back to, I was living in Hackensack. When I was fortunate enough to get a hold of $1 or two, I could go back over there and get a change of clothes. But I spent most of my days in the library, as I said before, where I rediscovered my love of poetry. It became my sanctuary, a place where I could express my pain, my fears, and more importantly, my hopes and dreams and aspirations. But my situation, I never let it affect my mental state. Don't get me wrong, there were days when I was depressed, but I never let it keep me from walking towards something. I didn't know what it was. I knew that I had to walk towards something, much like that caterpillar didn't know it was supposed to be a butterfly. But I did not let my situation keep me from going through the stages of preparation so that I would be prepared, that I would be strong enough for that day when I walked into my purpose. And so, like I said, I didn't let it get me down. Because I realized that for everything that was going on outside of me that I had no control over, I did have control over how I would react to it. And one of the ways that I did that, the things of revelation that came to me, I was, like I said, 2005, I had gone back to work briefly for General Motors. And as I said about the Guido story, Thursday was always my day off. And this particular Thursday, another Thursday, I had a routine. I'd go to the cleaners in the morning, go to the barber shop, I'd go to manicure or whatever. And, because I was still relatively young, in 2005, I was 48, right? I would go out in the evening because I was making a lot of money. I was single. And so this particular Thursday, I decided I wouldn't go out. I'm going to stay home. So you know what? Go get you a bag of seedless grapes, chill out, take a shower, watch a movie. So I go buy a bag of grapes. I go home, I take a shower, I put on I don't give a daggone clothes, hole in the sock stuff. Put in a movie, wash my grapes. I sit down, I put my hand into the bowl, put a grape in my mouth, I bite into it, it's filled with seeds, and I'm livid. I start cursing under my breath. Because I don't want to spit seed into the bowl, and every time I put my hand in there, I'm grabbing seed and grape at the same time. And as is its way, the Holy Spirit begins to speak to me and chastise me. And he says, Jay, you're a fool. I'm like, why am I a fool? He says, how many people can put their hand into their harvest and still have a seed to plant? Whoa. I was like, okay. Oh, really? Okay. Huh? That's kind of deep. That's rare. And then he said, and you're selfish too. I'm like, why am I selfish? I'm the only person in the house. And he says, because a selfish man is like a seedless grape. Once he's gone, there's no evidence that he ever existed except for the waste. I was blown away. So much so that I used that quote to start writing a book of quotes, which I'll be using in going forward in my platform, along with my probably 1,000, 1,200 poems that I have, and the stories that are behind a lot of these poems. And they're all about encouragement and purpose and rediscovery and discovery and restoration and resurrection of dreams. We're going to have some fun. But anyway, as I said, I thought about it. So, well, Jay, you have been selfish. It's been what, 6 years now since you had your incident. And what have you really done with the gift? Like the talent in the parable of the talents. You burying your gift in the backyard. And I tried to rationalize and come up with a good answer, but I never could. And I just dismissed it. But as time went on, when 2015 came around, and I was instructed by the Holy Spirit to move up here to where I am now to buy a theater, because one of the things that I discovered, a couple of things I discovered about myself during my struggle when I was homeless, is that I could write songs and I could write plays and musicals, which I've done. Haven't had anything produced yet, but I said, come up here and buy a theater. So I came up here to buy a theater. And as I said the other day in the video, sometimes the Holy Spirit will send you places and you think you're there to get something when it's actually there because it wants you to give something of yourself. Because the people in the community or the place where you're going is waiting for you to show up. They're waiting for you. Because this is where your purpose is going to matter. And I understand now that I wasn't ready to walk into my purpose. I was being prepared for it because the type of service that my purpose is purposed for requires strength and a lot of discipline and being able to relate to tragedy and the struggle of recovery. And one of the poems that I was inspired to write because of my struggle is called The Wisdom of the Heights, which I'm going to share during this video. So, folks, don't ever give up on your dreams. Wherever you've laid them, go back to that spot. resurrect your dreams. And remember, the struggle is necessary because you're going to need discipline and strength when you walk into your purpose, when you blossom, when you come into the glory of God. Thanks again for sharing some time with me here in the J Spot. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks again. Peace. The wisdom of the heights. He landed gently on the ground and folded in his wings. And it was on that day I found just why the caged bird sings. He doesn't sing for liberty or restoration of his rights. He sings because he came to see the wisdom of the heights. He doesn't sing to garner praise, ovations, or applause. He sings because he knows his cage was never made of walls. He doesn't sing because he can or to stand out in a crowd. He sings because he understands the limits of the ground. He doesn't sing to woo or spark or soothe with lullabies. He sings because he knows the dark is pierced by open skies. He doesn't sing what's all the rage or what others think is fine. He sings because he knows his cage was always in his mind. But what he did not realize or had come to know before is that his liberty and freedom lie in his ability to soar. The keys to your cage lies between your ears.